On Wednesday, June the 10th, and it's time for the morning briefing. First of all, no changes to the National Terrorism Advisory System overnight. A snapshot of the region this morning. You do see the updated numbers from Monday on the unaccompanied children. You know about the two disaster declarations that we have for Texas and Oklahoma. Status of our ongoing IA and PA damage assessments in Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. And no fire management grant requests have been received. Now, as we switch over to the Geo platform this morning, things are relatively quiet around the region. Jennifer's going to have an update on the weather here in just a moment. Checking the status of our state EOCs this morning, New Mexico is level 4, Oklahoma and Louisiana are level 3, Arkansas and Texas are also at level 4. Shelters checked this morning. Oklahoma has 2 shelters for 2 occupants. Louisiana 3 shelters for 3 occupants. And Arkansas 2 shelters for 7 occupants. Here at the region, we are at level 4. You notice our IMATs are deployed to Oklahoma and Texas. We do have a couple of MERS vehicles here on the map as well. Before we turn it over to Jennifer, we're going to take a quick look at the Red River flooding. Here at Shreveport, the river has crested at 37 feet and is on its way down. Bossier Parish Sheriff's Office reports on their website approximately 35 homes in this area here have been impacted. The next gauge down is at Coshada, this little town right here. It is expected to crest this afternoon at 38.6 feet. It's at 38.4 feet right now. And at that stage, a lot of secondary roads, 2 Louisiana highways, 480 and 515, will be closed due to flooding. A lot of backwater flooding up the Loggy Bayou, Red Chute, and Flat River bayous, and also Lake Bistineau will be in flood stage. In addition to that, a lot of agricultural, livestock, and equipment could be impacted if they're not moved. Looking downriver at Grand Ecore, that was going to crest on Friday at 42.5 feet, and Alexandria on Sunday at 38 feet. And as the crest moves down the river, we'll give you the impacts in those other areas. Now we'll go back to the main map and turn it over to Jennifer.
Good morning. Thanks, Paul. You can see on radar a few showers out there over New Mexico, and that'll mainly be what we're focused on today. So if we go to the next slide, really the only thing highlighted for today is going to be the heavy rain potential, mainly in northwestern portions of the state. And that's just all that moisture that's coming up from the remnants of that, what was hurricane that moved into Baja and kind of dissipated and moved some moisture up into that area. Tomorrow looking to be relatively quiet, but then things pick back up across the region on Friday as we head through the weekend, and I'll show you some graphics on what we're expecting there in a minute. So if we go to the next slide, tropical-wise for the Atlantic and Gulf, quiet for the next 5 days. Next slide, the Eastern Pacific, there is an area that we're keeping an eye on that has a 70% chance of development. So we'll see what effects that might have as we head into next week as far as any moisture coming up into the region. On the next slide, just heading through the next couple of days, in the upper left-hand corner, you can see that heavy rain and flash flood potential for New Mexico today. Tomorrow, pretty quiet, but then that area outlined over western Oklahoma and into the Texas Panhandle for Friday. That's where later in the day on Friday, we're going to see some storms start to develop. They could be strong to severe, and they could contain heavy rain leading to flash flooding, looking for about 2 to 3 inches over that area Friday night into Saturday morning. The other area we're keeping an eye on is out over southern Louisiana and extending into southeast Texas as we head into the weekend. Those are kind of going to be the two areas where we see the most activity Friday through the weekend. They're from western Oklahoma into west Texas, and then over southern Louisiana into extreme southeast Texas. So that'll be continued rain chances through at least Sunday. If you go to the next slide, rainfall today, not expecting a whole lot. Still the continued rain over South Louisiana, but not any kind of widespread flooding threat. But then look at that 5-day precip. You can see the 4 to 5 inches expected over western Oklahoma into portions of the Texas Panhandle. So although when we look at reservoirs and the larger lakes in the Texas Panhandle, they're relatively low compared to other parts of the state. Some of the smaller lakes, they still got record rainfall over these areas in the month of May. So a lot of the smaller lakes are full, and it's not going to take a whole lot in that area to see some flash flooding. So that's really the concern from Friday through the weekend is the flash flood threat for that area highlighted in those highest rainfall amounts. And you can see 2 to 3 inches forecast for South Louisiana as well. On the next slide, Paul talked about the rivers, the major flood wave kind of moving through the Red River in northeast Louisiana, that Coshada Point. The crest that's happening today is the third highest flood crest there. The highest levels were in 1892 and 1945, so third highest crest going on today there. And then on the next slide, the drought monitor, the new one will be released tomorrow. Probably not a whole lot of change because we haven't seen a whole lot of rain in the last 7 days. And then the space weather remains quiet for the next couple of days. And that's all I have unless there's any questions. Good morning.
Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate that. If you happen to have a question for the Weather Service, go ahead and type it in the chat window, or if you're on the phone, ask the question. While you're doing that, we'll take a look at the meetings around the region this week or today. It's highlighted in bold there. You notice also we've had a couple of cancelizations as well. And hurricane quiz. Where have the greatest number of hurricane strikes occurred since 1926? I'll give you a minute if someone would like to try and answer that one. And Angela is correct. The Florida Keys. And there's the outlook for the 2015 hurricane. But as it states down there at the bottom, all it takes is one. Any other questions this morning? I see Japheth's typing in the chat window. And hello to you too, Japhet. Good to have you on. Any other questions this morning? All right, everyone have a great Wednesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.